how I got involved with Way of Nature. It's almost 10 years ago, I think. My partner had a team event, and it was a 2-day retreat with Way of Nature, and the partners could come with them. So I went with his team to Maren, where I had my first 2-day Way of Nature retreat.
What brought me to do a training with Way of Nature was actually meeting Joseph Jaworski and hear him talk about Crestone and about John Milton and about Brian Arthur, describing also the land of Crestone. And I think that woke up in me a certain desire that I couldn't name at that time. But I remember being impressed by Joseph Jaworski and that the things that happened to me within his presence, in his trainings, I could speak out more, for example. And I knew I wanted to learn what he knew from his teacher. So I wanted to go to the source of his knowledge.
How did I get involved with Way of Nature and John? It was actually Viva that said, well, I'm going to a workshop of John P. Milton. And I said, who's that? But I was curious because of what she told about presence and things like that. And we went to Baarn in the Netherlands. It's called, translated in English, Tree Center, actually. And John was sitting there actually like a tree. And he made us do some exercises outside with sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. And I was kind of intrigued. And then the year thereafter, in 2016, there was the opportunity to take part in a nature quest on the Isle of Terschelling. And that was my first time of really going deep into the Way of Nature process. And then it took its own course after.
I got involved because I had read the book Presence of Peter Senge and Jaworski and Flowers and an important other one, Charmer. And there is a chapter in it which takes place at John's sanctuary, and it's spoken about a sacred passage in Baja. And then I was invited to a workshop of Jaworski, and then I was invited to a workshop of Way of Nature and was able to meet John. And there was really greatly inspired by what he told, by his being present. And that was the kickoff of a long journey.
I read a book. It was called Presence, and one of the co-authors was Joseph Jaworski, and he told about a story on Baja, California, where he had this beautiful encounters with the whales. And I thought, well, once when there's time, I will be there and do the same as Joseph did. And Joseph told that he was with John P. Milton, so that name I remembered. And well, actually 1 year later I had a sabbatical, and I thought, oh yeah, I did want to do such a nature quest. So I looked up the name, and the nature quest was 1 week later. So within 1 week I was in the plane and I was going to Mexico.
So the first time I heard about John Milton was during a Theory U workshop that we organized in Madrid in 2010, when I was president of Soul Spain, and we all in that workshop had read the book Presence, in which Joseph Jaworski talks about a very deep experience he went through during his sacred passage in Baja California del Sur. So his story really opened my heart and planted a seed that took 10 years to grow, because I remembered it in 2020, in the midst of the pandemic. So I looked for John, and that's when I first heard about Way of Nature process. And I was accepted into a 3-year intensive training, which culminated in a retreat in Crestone with the other training participants. That was August 22. And before that, I fulfilled one of my life dreams, which was to go through the Sacred Passage in Baja California. So I did that, guided by John. And it was actually the same year that I invited John to Spain to offer a natural renewal workshop, which was a success. We went to the north of Spain, Basque country, with 32 people.
On the first question of how did I get involved with Way of Nature, I was already like doing some nature connection work at that time, mainly in South Africa, with women's retreats over there. But it was actually through reading the book from Presence, and in particular that passage as well from where Joseph Jaworski describes his experience in Baja California, that there was something deeper curiosity, let's say, stirred in me of like, who is John and where are his teachings about? I really wish to experience him. So that brought me to Costa Rica, where I had my first sacred passage in the rainforest. And that was quite a deep experience, I can say. And from nowadays point of view, I would say a kind of like a cutting through experience, in the sense that by being out there, I really felt like almost like a kind of like deep form of commitment of like, I want to really study this lineage. I want to deeply be involved and engaged in this lineage of John Milton and Way of Nature. So I did. I did for over years, let's say, guide trainings, supported John in programs over the world. So from Mexico to the UK, Spain, Austria. Beautiful programs, guide trainings, where I had the honor to be on his side and to support that. And oh my God, so much. What a base, what a foundation it has given in my life. And I mean in professional sense, but also on personal ground. It's really fundamental to me. It's a lot of like what I now would say, where I give up my energy, where I give up my focus, is so much in line, and it has so much risen from the body of work, let's say, from John, from the Way of Nature.
So I first got involved with Way of Nature through Way of Nature UK, actually, and spoke to a few people there, and they told me about a sacred passage in Austria where Dylan, Walter and John were running it. And I remember listening to Sky Above, Earth Below on the train going through Austria, thinking, I'm exactly where I need to be. This is going to be a fascinating experience, and I wasn't disappointed.